All right, y'all. As I said, today is the last day to withdraw. Y'all, we're getting towards the end. We need to, as a class, we're at 74%. So we need to think about if we're not in Module 3 or we're not around this 50, 60, 70%, we need to get it in gear. There's not much time left, y'all.
When do we need to have 100?
I want you to have 100 by the end of the semester.
December?
First week in December. But to know your average, and let's talk about a couple of things first. Tomorrow, there's no classes. No classes at all tomorrow. We have Student Success Day. The hub and tutoring is not even open until tomorrow night because we want everybody to go to those Success Day things. And also, today is the last day to withdraw. Now, I'm going to send you an email that's going to have the Success Day schedule on it. But I'm going to show you where to go get it. If you go to students and you go to, I forgot where I went to get to it. You go to, no, you don't go to students. I hate this website. If we go to, it's not, maybe it's there. I had to click on like 4 different things to find it. Welcome back. All right. I'm going to send it to you in an email so that y'all don't have to worry about it. Let me pull it up in my email so that I can show you what it looks like. You need to double check with your other classes to make sure that they need to Success Day. This is what I'm going to email you, y'all. It's a link that tells you all of the classes that are being taught tomorrow. There's everything from doing your makeup to writing a resume to figuring out financial aid. They want you to go to the ones that you feel mean something to you. Now, some of your teachers are going to make you go. That's like your attendance for tomorrow. Some teachers may give you extra credit and do it as an incentive. So you need to double check with your teachers to see who you need to, how many of these you need to go to. For me, I'm not making you go, but I want you to go if there's something that interests you. Okay? At each session, they'll give you a little ticket, and you'll get one for each class that you go to. So let me do my, where did I go? Here it is. So for example, it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's an 8 to 8:40 session. Anxiety and stress, scholarships, student study tips, how to get a good background check. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out here. Financial stuff, if you're planning on going to Coker College, motivation, about drop ad dates. So all of these are 8 to 8:40. And then there's another session from 9 to 9:40. And it tells you where to go and the times. Now, this room, 7104, is just like this room. It'll hold 50 people. But some of these classrooms will only hold like 20 people. So if you want to go to a session and you really want to hear it, you need to make sure that you get in the session before they shut the door, before it's full. So there's classes all the way until 5 o'clock at night, 4:20 to 5 o'clock. Now, they are closed. We don't have any sessions during lunch. So I want to say 12:30 to 1 or 11:30 to 1. Yeah, lunch break is from 12 to 1. So they are either from 11 to 12 or they start back at 1:20. So, y'all, there's all kinds of things out there that you can go see. Managing the Math Monster. So if you see anything, and I'll email this to you as soon as I get out of class. I'll send it to whatever email you're in for Alex. But this tells you the room number, the time, where it's going to be. Look, this one's about Redbone Alley. Career options, like if you're trying to get a job. So they are trying to have everything out there for you. So just find something that interests you. You can go to 1 session, you can go to 10 sessions, it doesn't matter. So that is Success Day, which is tomorrow. November 1st, which is next week, we're having a job fair. So that's at the SIMT. I'll send you that in an email as well. So all these little things are starting to add up. Now, I heard Tia say, when do we have to have that 100? I'm hoping you'll get 100 quickly. Some of y'all may not even get to 100 by the end of the semester. The goal for this class is whatever you make on your homework, you multiply it by 0.25. Whatever you make on your scheduled assessment, you multiply it by 0.75. So right now, think about what's in the center of your pie. What percentage is in the center of your pie? Okay, I heard a 76. That's in the center of your pie. Now, what did you make on your highest scheduled assessment? We've had 3. How you know
I'm
that?
not sure.
Okay, if you're not sure, and this is why we want to talk about this, let me go to class tools and not resources, let me go to student view. Student view, come on. Give it to me. All right, you know how when after a test I say go up to the rant and go to gradebook. So if I come up here to the rant and I come to gradebook, your grades up at the top, these are all your homework grades. Down at the bottom is all your scheduled assessments. So let's say on your first scheduled assessment you made a 30, and then you made a 40, then you made a 50. So your highest scheduled assessment will be a 50. And your pie is what you have in your pie right now. Y'all with me? So if I go to my calculator and I see that in my pie, let's say it said 85, that counts for 25% of your grade. Plus what you made on your scheduled assessment, your highest scheduled assessment. So let's say 50 was what you made on your highest scheduled assessment. That counts for the other 75%. So right now, that's my average. So it's your pie times 25%. So your pie grade.
My average is 85.5.
All right. So you take whatever's in your pie and multiply it by 25%. You take your highest scheduled assessment and multiply it by 75%. So there's no doubt you're going to pass this class. Because as long as that answer is an 80 or higher, you've passed. You're done. You're not done.
So I can go.
No. Your goal is to get an 80 because an 80 or higher in this class means successful completion. I want you to make as good as you can, but you're not going to fail. Because I'm taking your highest scheduled assessment and I'm taking your highest pie grade. So our ultimate goal in December is to have this an 80 or higher and to have this an 80 or higher. I tell y'all 100 because I want to give y'all a little bit of cushion. But as long as both of those are above 80, you're going to pass this class. Are you with me? So the juicier you make your pie, the juicier scheduled assessment's going to be. But as long as both of those are above 80, you're going to pass. Because that means you know at least 80% of the material for this course, which is passing. Now, I'm going to take a minute to talk about scheduling. November 6th is when you can start to register. We haven't talked about this yet, have we? For spring. Spring 18. So y'all, November 6th, like 2 weeks from now, you can start registering for spring classes. 2 weeks from now. Now, how many of you, is this your first semester? Okay. Here is the reason I'm doing this today. I love you. I love you. Number one, do y'all know, hold on. Let me
For
get
real.
that.
Miss Cooper don't be trying to blame me now.
I ain't calling you out. But there's a couple things that y'all need to know that nobody else told you, but they expect you to know. And it makes me mad. I mean, that's why I was late to class. I was talking to our vice president about things that people do that they don't tell you about, but they expect you to know. Now, most of us know that you have a D2L account. That's where you log in for non-math classes. And most of us know that we have an Alex account. Now, once you get to your final math class, it's going to be called My Math Lab. But My Math Lab and Alex are the same thing. Okay? Now, everybody automatically has an email. The school will send things to your school email. I use whatever you put into Alex, but the school is going to send everything to your email. So you go to student email, and your email is going to be your first name, period, your last name, and your number at email.fdtc.edu. So it's first name dot last name and your number at email.fdtc.edu. And your password is what you use to get on the computer. It's your D2L password. It's all your other passwords. Y'all with me? This is where, if anybody's going to send you anything from school, they're going to send it to that email. I have sent y'all directions on how to put that email on your phone. I can resend those if you need me to. You want me to? What I do so that I don't have to log in all the time, on my cell phone, I have my school email and then I have my sexy mama email. Not really, but y'all know what I mean. So, when the school emails me, it comes straight to my phone. So I will send you the directions on how to do that. There's directions if you have an iPhone, and there's directions if you have an Android. If you can't get it to come up on your phone, right down this hall, 7204, they can get it on there. Now, another thing that a lot of students don't know about is WebAdvisor. Is there anybody in here who has not been into WebAdvisor ever? Okay. WebAdvisor, you have D2L, you have your email, and you have WebAdvisor. WebAdvisor is where you log in to get your grades. Y'all, we don't send you your grades on a report card. We post them online. So in December, don't check your mail and try to get there before your parents. We don't mail you your report card. We post it on WebAdvisor. So to log into WebAdvisor, you're going to do the same thing like a computer. Your first name, dot your last name and your number, and then what you use to get onto the computer.
Let me see that.
This is WebAdvisor. Now, let's talk about WebAdvisor for just a second. Once you log into WebAdvisor, you click on Students. This is where you would go. I have a lot of people come to me and say, I lost my schedule at the beginning of the semester. I lost my schedule. If you log into WebAdvisor, you can click on My Class Schedule and print out your schedule. If you want to know how much financial aid money you're getting, or whether it's pending, or whether it's been approved, that's in here. If you want to know how to make a payment plan, it's in here. If you want to know what your grades are, if you want to know what your average or GPA is, that's in here. There's a lot of stuff in here that people don't know about. This is all your information. If you want a list of every class that you've taken at Tech, it's up on an unofficial transcript. It's not official, but it's going to tell you every class you've taken and what grades you've made. Now, what we're going to talk about today, that I want to make sure everybody understands, is when you are registering for next semester, you need to know who your advisor is. You need to know where they're located, because y'all, I have a lot of people say, I go to Hartsville to advise, or I go to Lake City, or I go to Mullins. That's okay, but they're not experts in your degree. If you want to be a nurse, you need to talk to a nursing person. If you want to be in education, you need to talk to an education person, or you need to talk to a welding person. So, first thing I'm going to do is, a lot of y'all don't know who your advisor is. So if we come, I'm going to go back to WebAdvisor in just a minute, but if I go to this search button and I type in advisor, and I click on the very first link for academic advisors, our advisors are in 3 different departments. So I'm going to click up here, and I want y'all to look and see if you know who your advisor is.
I don't have a problem with that.
And we're going to talk about that too. There's usually more than one advisor for a degree. Now, a lot of you, if you are taking 033 math, 031, 032 reading, or 031, 032 English, you don't have a real advisor yet. You have what's called a developmental advisor. That developmental advisor knows nothing about nursing, welding, cosmetology. That advisor is to get you out of 0 level classes. They're not an expert. Their goal is to say, do what you gotta do to get out of these classes. When you get out of 031 and 032 and 033, reading, English, and math, then you will be given a real advisor who knows about what you're majoring in. So, if you're majoring, for example, in Associate in Arts, we have a bunch of advisors because we have a bunch of people here that are majoring in Associate of Arts. Now, Valencia said mine never calls me back. We divvy like I am supposed to only advise the AAs and the BOs, the AAT to the BO, okay? But if somebody with the last name C or G or H comes and asks me a question, I'm going to answer it. I'm their expert advisor. So if one person doesn't call you back, call another person in your field and just say, I'm not your alphabet, but can you answer my question? I can't get another person to call me back. Okay, Associate in Science, I have a lot of people that don't know AA and AS. Associate in Arts and Associate in Science is if you want to transfer to a four-year school. So if you know that you're not going to stop here, you want to go to Francis Marion, or you want to go to Coker or Clemson, you're going to either major in AA or AS. That means you're doing your first 2 years here, and then you're transferring. AA is if you want to do something that's not mathy. Like if you want to be a teacher, if you want to major in psychology, something that doesn't require math, but you want to transfer, that's Associate in Arts. If you want to be a doctor or an engineer, those are mathy fields. That would be Associate in Science. So anybody that's majoring in those are planning on transferring. All right, criminal justice. If you want to major in criminal justice, there's 3 people that are the experts. Those are the ones that you call. Most of y'all are going to be what we call developmental studies. These are the advisors. If you are still in 031, 032, 033, reading, English, or math. These advisors do not know anything about nursing, welding, cosmetology. Their goal is to get you out of 031, 032, and 033. Once you're out of those classes, they will take you out of this advisor and move you into another advisor that's real. Not that this person isn't real, but their goal, and all of these are English teachers, history teachers, so they're all in the 300 building pretty much, okay? This gives you their name, and if you want to email them, it's going to be marjorie.hall@fdtc.edu. They don't have the word email. So it's their first name dot their last name @fdtc.edu. And there's some sucky advisors out here that won't return your call, that won't email you back. Find somebody else on that name that will. Okay? Now, if you have a specific question, like you're a developmental studies advisor, but you're majoring in early childhood, I would go to the early childhood person if I have an early childhood question. And I would say, I'm still developmental, but can I ask you a question? Now, we don't have many early childhood students here, so we only have one early childhood advisor. Human services, if you're planning on majoring in human services, these are the advisors. Paralegal, there's 2 people. All right, that's the first degree. Now let's talk about if you're going to be a nurse when you grow up. Nursing assistant, there's 1 advisor. Dental hygiene, there's 2 advisors. Now, if you notice, all of these have an F in front of them. Do y'all know that we have another campus downtown? On Chevis and Evans. All of these Fs, their office is on the downtown campus, on the Evans and Chevis campus. So if you're wanting to do medical lab technology and you have a question, you need to call one of these 2 people. Nursing, but haven't gotten in yet, these are your advisors. If you're in nursing, these are your advisors. Phlebotomy, physical therapy, practical nursing, radiology, respiratory, surgical. So there's lots of different degrees out there with their advisors. Does that make sense? So even though you may have a developmental advisor, you may want to ask specific questions to your real advisor. And then let me go to the last one. The last one is going to be like for our welding, our HVAC, accounting. Here's the accounting advisors, administrative office advisors. engineering advisors, diesel and heavy equipment advisors, electronic engineering, HVAC, heating and ventilation, machine tool, management, marketing, nail technician. Some of y'all said, I didn't even know we had all this stuff. So you first need to know who is your advisor, first and foremost. Now, like I said, I have some people say, I just go to that advising room over there in the 100 building. That's fine in the beginning, but if you're majoring in automotive diesel, the 100 building may not know that you have to have this class in the spring, and if you don't have that class, you got to wait a whole nother year, and you screwed. That's why you want to talk to the person in your field, because y'all, nobody cares about y'all ultimately but y'all. Plain and simple. There's some good advisors, as we know, and there's some sucky advisors. So, starting in 2 weeks, y'all, you're going to have to start figuring out what you want to take. And if I were you, I would not walk into an advisor's office and say, make me a schedule. Because some advisors don't care if you're here at 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You know whether you want to do your classes 2 days a week or 4 days a week. Do you want to come early in the morning? Do you want to come late in the afternoon? Do you want to be done by 2? Do you want to start at 2? So I'm going to show you today how to figure out what classes. So in Web Advisor, remember, all I did was I was on the home page of the website and I clicked on Web Advisor. Now, I'm going to go to Students and I'm going to search for sections. For spring semester, these are all the sessions we have, y'all, for spring semester. This is day classes, first 8 weeks, second 8 weeks, night classes, 12-week classes, 3-week classes. Now, y'all, 3-week classes. You're doing everything in a full semester in 3 weeks. Yeah. Reality. Just like y'all, we have a holiday term. For 2 weeks, you're taking an entire class in 2 weeks between Christmas and New Year's. So you have to decide, can I do a semester's worth of work in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks? Most of our students do, and I'm going to write it on here, most of our students, they do either the 15-week session, which is what y'all are in with me. They do the first 8 weeks. They do the second 8 weeks, or they do the 12 weeks. The 12 weeks just starts 3 weeks later. But most of our students do the 15 weeks. So whether you take it in 15 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, or 2 weeks, you're doing the same amount of material. You're just working faster.
Just compressing it.
You're compressing it.
Harder.
Work harder, work faster in a shorter amount of time.
I'm good.
Now, let's talk about how to figure out, so most of us would be looking at the 15-week. There's 15-week and there's 15-week night. So if I go to the 15-week, now let's assume that we all get out of this class and we're either headed to 107, 170, 101, or 155. So Calvin knows he wants to go to 155. So he's going to click out here and he's going to go to Math. 155. So it is telling me all the classes in the spring, 15 weeks, that are taught Math 155. So what y'all need to do over the next 2 weeks is come out here and decide. Now, let me show you like that first one. Miss Rawlings is teaching it Monday, Wednesday from 2 to 3:15 in this building. Now, nobody has been able to sign up for this yet, because it doesn't open until November 6th. But let me show you what it's going to look like starting November 6th. I'm going to take this, I'll pull it in because it won't let me write on it. But starting November 6th, this may say 1. So it's 1-25. That means that there's 1 seat available out of 25. Which would mean 24 people are sitting in that class. So if it said 0-25, that means that class is closed because it's full. So right now, when it says 25-25, that means nobody's in there. There's 25 seats available and we only allow 25 people. Y'all with me? Sometimes it may say, like this one may say -1-25. That means there's 26 people in there. It's full and somebody let an extra person in there. Now with Hull, I can't go over 50 because I only have 50 computers. So mine will never be over. Some classrooms, like this classroom may have had 26 seats, so he let 26 people in there, but the teacher has to approve it. Now, notice how all the other numbers are 25 and these are baby numbers? 7, 6, 6, 6. Those are all the same class. If you've never heard of distance learning, that is when you are in Florence. So we have 7 people in Florence that are listening to Mr. Fleming teach. But then there's some cameras in the back of the room and some TVs. So while Mr. Fleming is teaching to 7 people in Florence, there's 6 people sitting in a room in Hartsville, 6 people sitting in a room in Lake City, and 6 people sitting in a room in Mullins, and Hartsville, Lake City, and Mullins is watching the class via TV.
So it's a satellite.
It's a satellite class.
No classes are so boring.
Some people are okay with satellite classes. Personally, I want the teacher with me, especially like if you're doing a math. They're sitting in Hartsville and you're sitting in Florence and they're like, my calculator's messed up, but you can't see it. So know that if it's little baby numbers like that, those all make one class. 7 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is going to give you your 25-ish. Does that make sense? Now, also pay attention to what campus is on. I have some people say, oh, I want to do my 8 o'clock on this one, my 9:30 on this one, but they didn't pay attention that their 9:30 was in Mullins. So if you only want to do this campus, you need to make sure it says main campus. So if I was Calvin and I went back to my home screen and I did search for sections and I said, I want to pick a 15-week spring class, I want to do math, 155, but I only want to see on main campus. Then it's going to narrow it down for me and say, these are your choices. Or if you live in Hartsville, you could say, I want to look for classes in Hartsville first. So it's only going to tell me the 155 classes that are offered in Hartsville. Does that make sense? Now, so you can go out there and you can know next semester, I need a math, I need an English, I need a history, I need whatever. Now I have some of you going, I don't know what I need. I don't know what I need to take next semester. So if you don't know what you need to take next semester, this is what you need to do. You need to type in catalog. Don't do the ads. I don't go for the ads. I come down here to the first one that was not an ad. Here is our current catalog. This lists everything you need to know about this school. When I went to school, they printed it out and gave it to us. Now they don't. But if you go to the catalog and you go to the table of contents right here, you find your degree. Here's all my degrees. So somebody give me a degree. What are you majoring in?
Physical therapy assistant.
Okay, physical therapy assistant. So I come down right here. Physical therapy assistant is on page 202. So I'm going to scroll down. I just don't have to lick my finger. I scroll down to page 202. I'm getting close. Look, there's physical therapy assistant. Then, after you do that, page 203 lists all the courses that you need for that degree. So what I would do is I would print out this page, just page 203. And this tells you, you need a Bio 210, you need an English 101, you need a Math 120, you need a Psychology. This is every class you need to graduate. The only thing it doesn't tell you, Kira needs Math 120, but it doesn't tell her she's got to have 033, 101, 102 to get to 120.
I got it.
You got that? You also, if you go into Web Advisor, remember how important I told you Web Advisor was? If you go into Web Advisor and you log in, your program evaluation tells you the classes that you need. Your program evaluation is just like what I just talked about. But if you're not in the system as being a physical therapy assistant, it's not gonna be in here. Or if you're thinking about changing your major, you're gonna need to look it up in the catalog.
How
Yes.
would you know if you gotta take someone there?